back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Holy flying flipping flapjacks, full-time family, what the fuck do we have here? Michael Bisping versus Vitor Belfort's retirement fight and Darren Till versus Gunnar Nelson is rumored for UFC on London in St. Patrick's Day. Do you realize the magnitude of what I just said? I don't think you do, because not only those two fights, do you realize the location and the date that I just said? And not to mention Artem Lobov versus Bruce Leroy was just rumored for this same card. If all of these rumors come to fruition, and for our sake, fucking I hope so, Dana, make it happen, because this would be insane. Let me explain everything going on here, because this has to happen and it's very likely. Now, we'll start with the Michael Bisping versus Vitor Belfort retirement fight. Michael Bisping, we all know, has said his next fight is his last fight. A lot of us wanted this is his retirement fight. A lot of us thought maybe Yoel Romero, who's Michael Bisping gonna fight? He is on a 2-fight losing streak. He lost his belt to George St. Pierre at Madison Square Garden. He lost his middleweight title. Then he went on 3 weeks later, took another fight after getting dropped and submitted by George St. Pierre. He took a fight versus Kelvin Gastelum just 3 weeks later and got knocked out in that fight. So now Michael Bisping is on a 2-fight losing streak and he's looking to retire, but he already said he was wanting to retire on this card, so it doesn't really have anything to do with the fact that he lost twice in a row. That's just, you know, the facts of his record as his last 2 fights. Now, Vitor Belfort was supposed to fight Uriah Hall tomorrow, actually, at UFC St. Louis. Uriah Hall fainted, I believe, and was transported to the hospital before hitting the scales. So the fight was canceled. Co-main event versus Vitor Belfort, and Vitor Belfort, I believe, said that was his retirement fight. So now that this fight is off, Vitor Belfort could fight Michael Bisping, and since it's both of their fights, win or lose, both of these guys said they're retiring. Now, Vitor Belfort, his retirement night might not last as long as Michael Bisping's, but because Vitor Belfort has talked about like a Legends League and stuff like that. So Vitor Belfort has announced his retirement, and if this fight were to happen, I'm sure it would be sold as their retirement fight, because they both mentioned it. But Vitor Belfort and Michael Bisping, man, they're both legends of the sport. So UFC London, St. Patrick's Day. Now we can move to the next fight. St. Patrick's Day, of course, you know, the Irish holiday. There was a lot of talk of Conor McGregor possibly fighting on St. Patrick's Day, but this is definitely going to be on free TV, to my knowledge, UFC London, unless it's UFC 223. But I don't think that's the case, but it's possible, especially with these fights. But this just looks like a really stacked free TV card. With the Artem Lobov Bruce Leroy fight also announced. Now, Darren Till versus Gunnar Nelson. A lot of us know who Darren Till is. Darren Till is the guy that, you know, has the potential to be the biggest MMA star to date. There's not even really a need to mention him in the name of Conor McGregor, because he's not even in Conor McGregor's shadow. He's got really, honestly, more potential than Conor McGregor. It might sound crazy, but Darren Till is hitting the scene as a dominant force, undefeated, 16-0 with the win over Donald Cowboy Cerrone in his most recent outing. I believe he won 3 fights in just the year of 2017, if not 4, 3 of them at least in the UFC. He's a very confident young man. The trash talk is on point, and it's not really a cringy trash talk. It's a confident, like, hey, I'm too big for these guys. He's not going to make it out of the second round, and that's a fact. I'm coming in there and I'm laying them down. And he's calling out anybody from the best fighters to the most exciting fighters. Doesn't care about rankings. He'll fight you if you're Mike Perry, or if you're Kamaru Usman, who nobody else wants to fight, or if you're Gunnar Nelson, one of the best welterweight grapplers, or if you're fucking even Wonder Boy, one of the best welterweight strikers. Darren Till won't smoke with everybody, but his team in the UFC have to, you know, help him out a little bit. Because if it was Darren Till, man, he would have already been in there with Usman or any of these dudes. Perry don't care about ranking. But he's got so much potential, the UFC and his team, you know, it's good they're looking out for him and getting him the right fights and on the right cards, because London is the perfect place for Darren Till, who's got you know, roots in London and Brazil. On top of, he's, you know, everybody loves Darren Till. So And now take it to St. Patrick's Day, where this card is. Gunnar Nelson, another one of Conor McGregor's teammates on this card. There's going to be a lot of Conor McGregor. There's 100%, if these fights happen, Conor McGregor is in the audience 100%, because Artem Lobov would be on the card and Gunnar Nelson, two of Conor McGregor's teammates. And we saw when Artem Lobov was just fighting Andre Fili, Conor McGregor was amped on the sidelines. You know, we all know what happened when Conor McGregor was on the sidelines versus Andre Fili, and the ref had to sit Conor down. So if you got two of Conor McGregor's teammates on one card, and you know what I'm saying, a huge card like this, Michael Bisping, Vitor Belfort, legends of the sport, retiring on this card. One of the future brightest prospects, Darren Till, with two of Conor McGregor's teammates, all on St. Patrick's Day in London. This sounds like fucking money. That's what it sounds like to me. I would be more excited for this card, honestly, than possibly UFC 221 at this point. We know Robert Whittaker just pulled out with injury, so now it's just going to be an interim title at the top of UFC 221, which we've seen before, or even UFC 220. I mean, you got the main event and the co-main event. Of course, everybody wants to see Francis Ngannou and Daniel Cormier, and Stipe Miocic and Volkan Ozdemir, but, you know, Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou and Daniel Cormier and Volkan Ozdemir are really the only two super stacked cards, like fights on that card. The rest of the card is kind of weak for a pay-per-view, just compared to a lot of the other pay-per-views the UFC has put on, but they're also competing with Bellator on that same day, so I don't know if that has anything to do with that, but I'm just saying, if you give me Vitor Belfort, the former champion Michael Bisping, who just headlined Madison Square Garden, on top of Darren Till versus Gunnar Nelson, on top of Artem Lobov versus Bruce Leroy, on top of Conor McGregor and the motherfucking audience liable to scale the cage and push a referee or some crazy shit, or Conor McGregor. Come on, dog. UFC London, St. Patrick's Day. Make these fights happen. The rumor started here. Well, Michael Bisping kind of started it for me when he posted. And did I show you guys yet this post Michael Bisping put up that really got me thinking about this shit? Check this out. Boom. He said, here's a shot from 5 years ago. Shout out to my old man Jackson Brad Bisping in the background. So, Vitor Belfort versus Michael Bisping. This fight happened before. Michael Bisping, you know, he's talked about his retirement fight. Vitor Belfort, his retirement fight was just canceled because his opponent passed out. Now they can meet for a retirement fight 5 years later on one of the biggest cards with a lot of implications on that card. So I hope this happens, and man, if it doesn't, I'm going to be a fucking sad panda. With that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. Dana, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, make it happen. Please, MMA guys, bless the full-time family with all of these fights, including Artemis Lobavius versus Bruce Leroy. Can't wait. It is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.